right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know that this week we are doing a big enrollment for my signature program, the Online Summit Program. Now, specifically, we are looking for hikers who want to get strong and pain-free so they can conquer every adventure. Now, if you are potentially looking for a little bit extra help with your training for hiking, if you're preparing for a big trip, if you're trying to get on top of an ache or pain which is holding back your hiking, or you simply want to get fitter and stronger and more comfortable for your regular hiking, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you want to find out a little bit more about this program, what you can do is go to summitstrength.com.au/apply. Now, on that webpage, you'll be able to book a free, quick discovery call in which we can sort of touch base, have a chat, and really just see if we may potentially be able to help you, your hiking, your goals, and your situation. So if you want to find out a little bit more and organize a chat to see if this may be right for you, you can go to summitstrength.com.au/apply, and I'll leave a link for that in the show notes below. And now, with that being said, let's get into today's episode. Hey, my name is Rowan Smith, and I want to welcome you to the Training for Trekking podcast. Now, this is the world's very first podcast, which is entirely dedicated to helping you train, prepare, and conquer your upcoming hike, trek, or mountain adventure. So once a week, I'm going to be giving you quality and practical information on the subjects of physical preparation for trekking, dealing with altitude, and nutrition on the trail, so you can know everything you need to be doing to have the best chance of a safe, enjoyable, and successful adventure. So now you know what you're in for. Let's get into today's episode. All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are talking about some alternative cardio exercises that a hiker can use in their training if they get a little bit uncomfortable with some traditional exercises that are used in typical training. And this is specifically for hikers who may be doing things like boot camps, gym classes, HIIT sessions, working with a local personal trainer, following YouTube videos, or whatever it may be. And this is specifically for those people who do these sessions, but they realize, well, some things cause me a little bit of discomfort. Some things, I pull up feeling not 100% right. And some things, just don't feel quite right for me. And this episode is for you. Now, the reason I want to talk about this today is, this is something that, it just bugs me, in all honesty. In the world of fitness, HIIT sessions, interval sessions, boot camps, super popular. And for good reason. They're fun, they got you hot and sweaty, they're great for general fitness and this and that. But, I've worked in a lot of these things before. I've worked in a lot of HIIT studios. I've done a lot of boot camps. And one thing I see again and again, and saw again and again, because I don't work in there anymore, is just there's so many people who just get ground down by exercises that just aren't quite right for them. They do these high impact exercises again and again. And yeah, it gets them hot and sweaty. Yeah, it gets them tired, but they just get sore. And the dropout rate that I saw from that type of training was just phenomenal. Like, so many people do a couple of sessions or do a week or two and then just never come back. And the studios would get in this sort of false sense of, security, or the false bubble of affirmation or whatever it may be. Because all the people training there regularly, they loved it. They were doing really well. But there was just this constant conveyor belts of people who just wasn't right for them and was getting ground down. And I hated to see it. So for anyone listening to the podcast who may be in that, they do these classes, but they get a little bit uncomfortable. I want to talk you through a few alternatives, because there's certain exercises which, in all honesty, I don't think they're amazing when it comes to using them for cardio sessions. There's certain exercises that just get done to death in the world of fitness just because they get you huffed and puffed, but I think they are just not appropriate for a lot of people. And there's certain exercises which I think you just don't need to be doing. And I want to be talking about 4 in specific. Now, number 1, and if you've been following me for a while, you know this is my number 1 most hated exercise in the world. And I know a lot of people love them, but I hate them. And I've talked about this a lot, but I haven't talked about it recently. So here we go. So number 1, I want to talk about the burpee. The burpee, oh my gosh. in the world of fitness, it is done to death. It is literally just used because it doesn't require any equipment, doesn't require any space, and it feels hard. But in all honesty, it's just not a very great exercise, in all honesty. And for people who do struggle with this exercise, maybe they have foot pain, knee pain, hip pain, or whatever it may be, please, please, please know, you don't have to be doing this. The reason people prescribe this in their training is to get you huffed and puffed. And there are so many other exercises you can do to get you huffed and puffed, which you're going to feel much more comfortable. There's no science behind a burpee. It's literally that. It's hard. It gets you huffed and puffed. So I want to give you a legitimate alternative. Really, really simple. Probably just as hated for a lot of people as burpees, but it is probably much lower impact. If you struggle with burpees, I would highly recommend doing something like star jumps. If you have to do 40 seconds of burpees, do 40 seconds of star jumps as well. Just tell your coach, like, you know what, in the class, say, look, you know what, I don't particularly like burpees, so I'm going to do this instead. They'll be absolutely fine. But star jumps, as much as it's still jumping around, and much as some people may still hate it, it's going to take a lot of pressure off certain joints. It's going to take a lot of pressure off the wrists, a lot of pressure off the knees, and it can be, much more comfortable for a lot of people. So if you're stuck doing burpees and you hate them, they cause you discomfort, but you love this type of training, maybe do star jumps instead. That can be an option. Another exercise which I think gets done to death in these types of classes, and for hikers, I don't think it's particularly necessary, are squat jumps. Now, squat jumps are a great exercise in a number of ways, for a number of reasons. But when they're used as a cardio exercise, when they're used to get you huffed and puffed, again, it's not a particularly great exercise because the constant pounding when you're getting tired, it's just not a smart idea, in all honesty. Some people can do it, but some people can't. So if you, again, struggle with this type of thing, if you get uncomfortable or whatever it may be, and if you're asked to do squat jumps, instead, a great exercise you cannot do is doing quick squats with something under your heels. So get like a plate or get like a box or something, pot it under your heels so your foot's on a little bit of angle, and just do really, really quick squats, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now, in 40 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, that will get you pretty huffed and puffed, just as huffed and puffed as squat jumps, but it won't really be so uncomfortable and it won't lead to as much discomfort. And I think that's simple enough. Another one you always see in these types of things, boot camps, classes, whatever it may be, are lunge jumps. Now, lunge jumps, oh my gosh, like they are a pretty advanced move. But you see people getting asked to do this when they're knackered, when they're tired, and oh my gosh, it's a bit much for some people. So if you get asked to do lunge jumps and you can't do them so well, just do something like a step up. Stepping up. For a hiker, that's fantastic. That's great. For someone who's just doing a class like this is going to get you huffed and puffed anyway. You don't feel like you need to be jumping around. And then the final one, just as hated as a burpee almost, is the box jump. Now, the box jumps, again, can be a fantastic exercise if you're doing particular types of training. But when it comes to these classes, if you're trying to do it for cardio, again, it's not a great option. Because there's a constant jumping when you're tired, it's just not a good thing. So again, if you're asked to do box jumps, maybe just do step-ups instead. Now, I know this particular episode probably isn't relevant to a huge amount of people listening today, but I know there is a big percentage of hikers out there who do these classes. They do boot camps, they do HIIT classes, they work with a local trainer, they follow HIIT sessions, and they do this exercise all the time. And I hear it from my clients even, some people who are doing these on the side. And they're like, I did a class and I did all this and now I'm sore. And it's really, really sad to hear. So those are 4 big things, big exercises, which in all honesty, I think hikers in general, for people who struggle with discomfort particularly, maybe you want to do alternatives. You don't have to be forcing yourself through things that are uncomfortable. You don't have to be forcing yourself through things that, you absolutely hate or whatever it may be. Do things that are maybe a little bit better for you. So either way, that's my rant. Rant done and dusted. If you do your HIIT sessions, if you do boot camps, whatever, absolutely fine. Go for it. But be nice to your body. Be nice to yourself. And don't do things that are going to take away from your time on the trail. Because obviously as hikers, that's kind of where we want to be ending up. So rant over. Hope you've dealt with this. Hope you survived this. And I actually do hope this helps with a few people. Now, last thing I do want to say today, before I wrap up this episode, as we sort of said at the start of the episode, this week I am doing a big enrollment drive for my signature program, the online summer program. Now, if you are a hiker who maybe does these classes, maybe even listen to this and you do regular HIIT classes, you do regular boot camps or whatever it may be, but you're like, you know what? I've been doing this for a while. It's not really quite right for me. Or maybe I've got a big trip coming up, or maybe I'm trying to get on top of a campaign, and I feel like a bit more of a specialized and personalized approach may be right for you. If you're thinking about any of that, or if you just generally want to get fit for your hiking, I would love to hear from you. If you want to find out a little bit more about our programs and how we help hikers get fit, strong, and resilient for their adventures, what I'd like you to do is go to summitstrength.com.au/apply. That's summitstrength.com.au/apply. And I'll leave a link for that in the show notes below. Now, from there, you can from there on that webpage, you'll be able to book a call directly with us where we can have a short phone call, get to know each other, just get a little bit of information and see if we may potentially be able to help you with what you're aiming for. And if we can, from there, we can dive into things in a little bit more detail and recommend a potential solution. So if you do want to find out a little bit more about training with Summit Strength, go to summitstrength.com.au/apply. So I think that's enough from me today. Thank you for listening. I hope you got a bit out of it, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.